So this chapter starts off with Saitama accepting Flashy Flash's challenge to a fight, with the stipulation being if he wins, Saitama must become his student. However, if he loses, then he can never ask Saitama again. And when the fight starts, Saitama immediately just blitzes Flashy Flash, but like in a very different type of way. It's not like the typical speed blitz that we see in battle manga. It's both comical and incredibly cool at the same time because he just instantly appears in front of Flashy Flash without him comprehending it. Of course, showing how unfathomably fast Saitama is, even so nonchalantly. Let's not forget that Flashy Flash did go toe-to-toe with Platinum S and pre-Cosmic Garo in that air geometry dash battle. So he's, easily one of the fastest in the series. But of course, it is nothing compared to Saitama, even at this level of his power, if we're going by the chart, in his fight against Cosmic Fear Garo. And Flashy Flash is just trying everything. All of his name moves until he tries to use his Flash Fist, but he is countered by Saitama's Death Punch. Really incredible sequence here. Reminds me of Murata's art from like 5 years ago when he used to make these kind of double pages all the time. And as usual, this seals the deal in a sparring match against Saitama. But Genos shows up, which is apropos since he's the recipient of the original iconic Death Punch. But he tells Saitama and Flash Flash that there's a monster alarm. And there's like these 3 monsters who got mercilessly bullied on Reddit, and it caused them to monsterfy into these internet surfers. And also the responding heroes here are pretty cool. We've got Heavy Kong, Bone, and Peach Cherry. I really like Bone because he had a pretty cool sequence at the beginning of the Monster Association arc, which was unfortunately cut out of season 2 of the anime because they just didn't feel like animating it. But he's like fighting against that 100-eyes octopus monster, and there's like this sequence where this train car like flips over him. It's pretty cool, but most people will never know that happened, unfortunately. And Peach Cherry's a legend too. He's been out in the field since day 1. But randomly, Sonic shows up. I think the last time we saw Sonic was when he showed up momentarily in the fight between Saitama and Tatsumaki. But apparently he knows that Saitama's going to show up here because, it's implied that he like stalks him. And of course they do show up, but with Flashy Flash this time, and it blows both of their minds seeing each other because this is the first time the audience has seen these characters meet. And we've been wondering for years, like, hey, they're both ninjas, and we know that there's like this ninja village thing because it was talked about when Flashy Flash originally fought Hellfire and Gale. So we're like, oh, they must come from the same place, right? Well, turns out that they do. And they actually were like friends or something, apparently. And we'll get into that, but Hellfire and Gale are also showing up in this sequence. Like, what a wild sequence. So yeah, like I said, Flashy Flash fought these guys in the Monster Association arc and cut them both in half. At that time, it was like one of the best fights in the series, really cutting edge stuff. But after that, we went on to the Child Emperor versus Phoenix Man fight. And during that fight, Phoenix Man used his Awakening Light ability and resurrected Hellfire and Gale along with a bunch of dead Subterraneans as like zombies, which is like a crazy ability, and I'm pretty sure that that's coming back. But then Child Emperor fired off his Gigavolt Smash from his Brave Giant robot, and that did some kind of perfect Frankenstein magic and just full-blown Phoenix down these guys. And then they seemingly were like arrested by Child Emperor, but then like Saitama punched them, and they kind of just disappeared in the rubble of the Monster Association. So I guess they escaped the same way that Phoenix Man did. And now they're here, still trying to kill Flashy Flash and still trying to recruit Sonic just like they tried in season 2. And of course, Hellfire and Gale know that Flashy Flash and Sonic have history, both coming from seemingly the same class in the Ninja Village. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Hofsco. Hofsco strives to make the best and reliable electric bikes for bike lovers, helping all cyclists live an active, healthy, and sustainable lifestyle. Their goal is to build a long-lasting brand, get more people on bikes to experience the e-bike smile, and begin an incredible adventure journey. And they're not lying about the e-bike smile because, guys, this is by far one of the best things I've ever received in my life, because this thing is truly incredible and has completely changed my life for the better. Now, I live in the inner city, and since I became a content creator full-time a couple years ago, I no longer saw the need for a car, and I got rid of it, which was like a huge burden off my shoulders. I didn't have to worry about parking, maintenance, gas, insurance. I don't think I've driven a car in like the last 3 years, and I was kind of just taking rides rideshare apps to get to long distances, and aside from that, I'd of course be walking everywhere in between. But I don't have to worry about that ever again now that I have the Hovsco Hov City step-through cruiser electric bike. Now, of course, this thing looks incredibly aesthetic. Just taking this out for a 15-minute stroll today, I had people constantly glancing at it. It's a class 2, but can be class 3 unlocked via the Hovsco app, which is super simple to use. It has a Shimano 7-speed shifter, and speaking of the motor, it has a 500-watt brushless gear hub motor and goes up to speeds of 28 miles per hour. This thing is incredibly fast, and you can just tap on the throttle and you're pretty much cruising. You don't even have to pedal. Like, check this out. It was so much fun doing this. It also has a 60-mile range battery, along with a flashlight and super powerful brakes for when you really need them. And since I got my Hovsco bike a few months ago, my girlfriend has also gotten one, and it just made her life so much easier. Driving and parking isn't the easiest in our city, especially as a college student, so now she doesn't really have to worry about that stuff. Also, now that we both have bikes, we can go on rides together, which is like a fun new way to get a workout since we didn't have these before. So guys, now is the best time to get a Hovsco e-bike because they just started their early bird Black Friday sale, which runs from October 16th to the 29th. During that time, their e-bikes will be starting from $9.99, and if you buy 2, you'll be able to save up to $1,300. So guys, check the link in the description. Their early bird Black Friday sale is only from October 16th to the 29th, so get your Hovsco e-bike while you can, because we see this flashback of them as middle schoolers, I guess, in the Ninja Village. I think this is the first time we're seeing the Ninja Village. They're kind of like in like a laboratory portion of it, which is called the restricted area. And we see them observing a freaking God cube. Man, it is so satisfying seeing this panel, because I'm sure a lot of you who have been following me for a couple years now know that I've been talking about this stuff. How the Ninja Village is very likely tied to God. And I can't really get too much into it because it's gonna like go to spoiler stuff, but I honestly don't think you'll have to wait that long because I think everything is probably gonna be revealed in the next chapter or the next 2 chapters. But I'll get more into that at the end. But Saitama and Genos just, of course, instantly take care of these internet surfer monsters, and Flashy Flash speed runs Hellfire and Gale. Like, it's pretty remarkable how fast he takes them out. This is like a sequence straight out of Dragon Ball, like post-arc power creep. But thankfully they're able to do some Bushin Jutsu stuff and replace themselves with logs, and they are able to get away. So yeah, that for sure means that they are going to come back, because I'm pretty sure we're going into the ninja arc. Like, this is the chapter, or maybe the previous chapter started it, but if you were looking forward to like finding out about Sonic, Flashy Flash, and the Ninja Village and all that stuff, well, you're in luck, because it's going down in like the next, I don't know, 8 chapters maybe. But Saitama winds up knocking Sonic in the ground, as he usually does, and Saitama says that he's going to go look for Minako now, because, they kind of developed like this friendship with Minako. Like, let's just call it what it is. I mean, they're not going to say that out loud in the series, or maybe Saitama will, but Flashy Flash definitely isn't. But they're looking for Minako because they care about her, but also she potentially has information on God. Pour into their little secret investigation group they've got going on. And Saitama tells Flashy Flash, it's like, why don't you just go back? I'll go find Minako by myself. And he's also like, give me a break with the whole, like, become my disciple, be my rival, all that crap. I don't want to learn. I don't want to teach. I don't want to compete. And Genos, Sonic, and Flashy Flash all like react to this in a very almost Flanderized way, where they're all coming across their own conclusion of them feeling that he lacks confidence, which is debatable. I mean, obviously not confidence overall. He is the one above all, but maybe confidence in different areas of existing. I like the encouragement that they all individually give him. Like, Genos is like, I learn from you every second, master. And Flashy Flash, almost uncharacteristically, is like, you're the personification of potential. Have confidence. And then Sonic, even more uncharacteristically, is like, I'm impressed with your decent response whenever you attack me. It's like, I like it, okay? I don't mind that one is Flanderizing these characters little by little, especially like the likable ones that are having like hard face pushes, especially with Sonic and Flashy Flash as well. All of these characters are really important, especially Sonic, interestingly enough. And we're gonna find out, like, in this arc, like, how integral Sonic is to the overall series. But this just further annoys Saitama, and he escapes to King's video game lair. And he decides to just ask King to help him with finding Monako because, you know, King's chill. He's the only one that Saitama can really resonate with this point. But this also connects everything because King did see Monako. Like, when he was leaving that mummy temple place, Monako is randomly there. I guess just scrounging around for food, looking for shelter or whatever, and they instantly find her with a Looney Tunes-esque curry and rice trap, which is hilarious. Understandable, I'm sure she's very hungry, but they instantly find her, and Flashy Flash comes back, and later on Flashy Flash reunites with them, and he's like, "You found her?" And Saitama says, "In about 3 panels." And that's really funny because it is, but it's also like Saitama is straight up breaking the fourth wall there, right? And it makes you wonder, like, is this what one has planned for Saitama? Like, instead of just having him grow stronger within their world and, you know, becoming like universal and multiversal or omniversal or whatever in his powers, what if the next step is just him becoming self-aware and breaking the fourth wall, like Deadpool kind of? And I wonder how far that would go if that is what one intends. I mean, I'm just spitballing here and maybe jumping the gun, you know, as I usually do, but I could see, you know, in the final fight, instead of Saitama like punching God with, you know, some crazy attack, what if he just straight up erases his panels from the page and that's like how he kills him? But anyway, Flashy Flash says to Monako, like, "Hey, you know, we're eventually gonna have to talk about that God stuff. I think you know about God." And Monaco's just playing around like, "Oh yeah, God, yeah." I mean, and as we know, Monako shouldn't know anything about God. Monaco's like one of the lowest ranking, if not the lowest ranking monster in the Monster Association. Like, literally fodder. Like, they found her in a toilet. And considering that not even freaking Orochi himself knew about God, I doubt that Monako is. However, considering that they keep talking to her about it, that means that she is tied to him in some way. I mean, other than just being a monster, since all monsters are tied to God, I also think there's more to it. And I know I've said this before, and sorry if it angers anyone, but I am positive that any character with a singular eye in this series is probably going to be bad, whether inadvertently or purposely. And I don't think Monako is exempt from that. I don't know exactly what's going on with her yet, but I see a future that has some kind of heel turn and a transformation. Like, I'm pretty sure we're going to see like sexy female monster Monako at some point. But anyway, we're coming into the end of the chapter here, and Saitama, Monako, and Flash Flash teleport to the Hero Association and meet up with Sitch, because apparently he could just set up meetings with Blast now, and they do. At the end of the chapter is this them meeting with Blast like it was no big deal, which is insane. Like, if you would have told me this like 5 years ago, my head would have exploded. Because before it seemed like this was impossible. But now it's just like Sitch is, "Yeah, oh, you want to talk to Blast? Just come over. You know, roll up." And I'm not mad at it, but we could just assume maybe things change now. You know, since the Monster Association arc, since Saitama, Flash Flash, Monako found that cube, things have changed. So now Blast is more available, I guess, since more people are in on the God stuff. Since before that, it was a very tight-knit group. It was just like Sitch, Blast, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. But anyway, now that they are going to talk with Blast, the next chapter is probably going to be like the most incredible exposition dump and flashbacks. Man, I hope so, because I cannot wait to get into that stuff, because I'm thinking Blast is going to tell us some crazy stuff about the Ninja Village because it has a cube tied to it. And like I said earlier, I can't really get too much into that stuff because, like Thanos, I'm cursed with knowledge. So I'm just going to have to let Blast hopefully lay it out in the next chapter. But aside from that, all I have to say is this is really exciting, and I cannot wait to see how it all connects. And you might be able to spot what Blast is potentially going to be talking about if you go back a couple chapters, because we may have seen something with Blast already that pertains to this arc. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments, and if you like the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.